Yo, welcome to the Uninvited Podcast, where we talk about things that get you
Uninvited
to your next dinner party, man. Listen,
That was nice.
we got our usual suspects, man. Ricky, main man Matt, Dwayne in the
Sup,
building.
sup?
And y'all, listen, we got a lovely audience in the back.
Yes.
Round of applause for our audience in the back. We're getting ready with it, man.
Right.
And shout out to our producer, Faye Cool, man, who always gets it.
Yeah,
jiggy
we love that
up
guy.
in
Hold
the
on.
beast.
So first of all,
Wait a minute, man. Let me finish my introduction. Yo, subscribe. Y'all know what to do. Subscribe, man. We're on our 27th episode. Subscribe.
I apologize.
Hit that ring.
Yeah,
hit that bell.
hit the
that
bell. Hit the bell.
All
Hit the bell.
right.
Okay.
So
Gotta be
are we?
notified.
we here, right?
We here. We
Mr.
here.
Beast doing great.
No, hold on.
things.
Time out before you get into that
What
real
up?
quick.
What up?
I feel a little alone right now.
Okay, what's up?
Okay, so here's what happened. Faku has gracefully given us some plum wine.
Oh no.
Oh, you feeling?
not
no,
going to
we're
talk
not.
about it.
No.
Time out.
No.
Can I finish?
What-
Can I
no,
finish?
No, whatever he's gonna say.
Can I
no.
finish? Can I finish?
Go
Can I
ahead.
finish?
That's the
Go ahead.
problem.
Go ahead.
Can I finish?
Go ahead.
That's the problem.
Okay.
So Faku has gracefully given us some plum wine, and this plum wine is legit. Tastes great. And this particular plum wine has the plums that have been soaking in the alcohol. Now I, because there's 4 of us, have suggested that we each eat a plum.
Yo,
But everybody here is
Stop.
just saying I'm wrong for saying that.
Yo.
And they're not going to do it with me, which is horrible. I don't
Why don't-
feel.
why don't you do
I
it?
don't feel seen.
listen.
I don't feel.
Why do you
loved.
take 2?
Wait. What did the
I
young
take two
women
for the
say?
team.
It's giving
Listen.
isolation. That's what it's doing. It's giving isolation.
It is
If we
St. Patrick's
eat
Day.
this plum, ain't nobody getting out of here.
Why we not?
We here.
We gotta drive, bro.
We
That's why you do that. You're not driving. That's what it is.
We here till
He's
tomorrow.
not driving. You see that?
Hey man, all right, just do a half one then. Come on, man.
Half one.
Come on. Peer pressure.
You and Ricky. You and Ricky. Go ahead.
No. No.
Go ahead, Ricky.
No. I'm gonna need 10 years to get over
You
that.
and you and Matt.
All right,
you
so
and Matt.
I tell you what.
Anyway, Back to the Future.
I tell you what.
You because half.
I do it myself. Give me
Oh,
one.
you gonna do it yourself?
I'm walking.
All right, Dwayne gonna do it.
I'm
himself.
walking.
Let's go.
All right, Dwayne.
Dwayne, I will eat one of those plums if you eat one of those spicy chip with me.
Oh, you got a spicy chip?
Let's go, Dwayne.
Oh my
If you
gosh.
eat a spicy
Is
chip
this-
with me,
is
I will
this
eat one
hot
of those
wings?
plums.
Is this hot wings? What's going on? Hot plums?
I don't advise this. Did you eat food?
I don't know if I ate enough, but whatever. Let's go.
Tony,
Let's go
all
figure
right.
it out.
On the air.
You feeling chippy?
For the insurance.
We'll figure it out.
For the insurance. We
Now,
got,
nobody else is.
We
got the video.
Fresh, you on this? You what's up,
we got the video.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
All right. See, my cousin is a G. My cousin is a G. I love that guy.
I'm in my 30s. I can handle it.
All right, you ready, Bryce? Does this have pits in it, or can I just go with the whole thing?
Probably a pit.
All right,
It's
it's a
the
pit.
plum.
Okay.
It's the plum. You got to pit.
1, 2.
3. What in the world?
Oh my gosh. This is okay. This is unexpected. This is uninvited, unexpected,
Yo, get this dude a blanket.
unreal.
Get him and Bryce a blanket.
What do we got?
Y'all
What are we doing?
ain't getting out of here.
It's nothing, baby. It's nothing.
Okay.
Do you like the plum? You like to eat the plum?
Yo, how is it, Bryce?
How is it?
It's good, right?
Yeah, whoa.
Why
We'll
you-
get back to you in an hour. I'm going to
Why
slow
you
more
look
than
like
a
you had a
plum.
hot wing? Why you look like you had a hot
Oh,
wing?
yeah, that was
All right, so
nothing.
let us continue. You may talk about Mr. Beast now.
He can't even close his mouth now. Look at him.
Listen,
We'll know. We'll know during karaoke.
Oh, we'll know.
Had
We'll
one.
know
What's
gonna
your
happen.
excuse?
No.
Oh, see?
Yo.
Shots fired.
Yo,
Shots fired.
I give Dwayne 45 minutes. Let's
Yeah,
play,
we gonna see.
let's place bets. I got $5 on Dwayne. 45 minutes.
45 minutes. Let's see what-
All right, cool.
No, I
we'll
think,
check back on it.
No, I think Dwayne got the higher tolerance.
We'll see. I
Dwayne
don't
will be
know.
giving his
Well,
ATM
then, in
pin
that
out.
case, and I got $5 on Bryce. 30 minutes.
Yeah, I got kids. I drink every day. What are you talking about?
You know
No,
what
I'm
I
playing.
mean?
I don't. I don't.
But yo,
Okay.
You have
Okay.
a litter. So.
yo, Mr.
All right.
Mr. Beast, y'all. Mr. Beast
Wow.
doing some great things.
Wow.
He is doing a lot of
He's a beast.
exploitation in Africa, according to
Wow.
according to our community.
right.
But like he's
All right.
doing some
A white
amazing
guy
things, man.
exploiting
He's
in Africa?
He's
What
giving
a
people
shock.
shoes. He's doing a bunch of amazing things, and spending his own money and taking that money that he's giving away, or that he's making and giving it right back to charity.
So,
right.
yeah.
So a lot of black folk, from the little bit that I read, are saying like, okay, here comes the colonizers again. Right, not my words, but you know, the colonizers.
colonizers.
You
like
want me to-
exploiting
Exploiting.
Africa and filming it and act like they're doing
Taking
this
all
great-
the blood
act like-
diamonds.
act like they're doing this great philanthropy work,
Yeah.
right? But he's really helping kids in Africa.
Can I fill in the people for the unengaged?
What's up? Go ahead.
For those who may not know.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so there's a extremely popular YouTuber by the name of Mr. Beast. He has I don't know how many followers, but
If you
at
don't
least
know
it's
him,
in
you're
the millions.
dead.
It is the most. So what he did was he does a lot of philanthropy work. So what he did was he went down to South Africa and donated 20,000 shoes to the people there who did not have they were trying to get to school, they had no shoes. There was also backpacks given. Right. But I didn't.
That's huge.
Yeah, that was
That's
another
huge.
one. Yeah, but that's huge. So he does a lot of philanthropy work. But the only problem is, he also has a lot of followers on YouTube. So the issue that some people were having was one, he's going to get some sort of monetary gain from this because of those YouTube channel that YouTube channel is monetized. So it's not just pure philanthropic work. Also, he's going to a very poor section of Africa. The only problem with that is for years, Africa has been seen as a poor region all throughout Africa. Like all of Africa is poor. If you think, as far as what people think that it is. So as far as optics, as far as all of that stuff, it's like going to a homeless person and giving them $1 and saying to Instagram, hey, look, I just gave somebody $1, rather than just giving them the shoes. So that's what people are angry
So the whole cataract situation, to add to what you're saying as well, approximately 1,000 blind people saw it for the first time.
Right.
And so when I went to the comments and strolled, you saw, you could differentiate the Christian community, right? Because they was like, oh, he think he Jesus now, right? Saying this in the chat and whatnot. And so like,
Hands and feet.
a guy like that, right? Big YouTuber, big content creator. At this point, he's bigger than that, right? Making all this money and doing all this great work, right? Is it exploitation? Like, what's like? How do you draw that line? How do you theater between that line of helping philanthropy work and taping it and videotaping it and exploitation?
It's exploitation, that the fact that he filmed it, that he's like, look at me doing this, as opposed to just literally going to that region, no cameras, no nothing, and just, hey, here, I got like a truck of shoes and equipment that you guys need, as opposed to just him filming it. That's kind of, I mean, not excuse me, it's kind of a dick move.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
Bryce. Let's think about it in this way. Mr. Beast is not independently wealthy as far as there were people.
He's YouTube rich.
Well, what I'm saying is
what
there
does
are
that
people,
mean, though? What does that mean?
What that means is there are people, in order to make that adventure happen, you had a bunch of people donating things. So there may have been people sponsoring him in order to get these shoes, in order to get these book bags. You do have to do a video. Like there are certain people that are not into charity just because they're into charity. They're in it for the optics, and they're in it for a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm not saying I wouldn't necessarily blame Mr. Beast.
No, not him. I mean,
But there are other
it
people
doesn't
involved.
fall solely on him. Like all of our problems. I
But
blame
like,
Mr.
I mean,
Beast.
he's the main topic right now. So like, what are you saying, Bryce? Like, are you agreeing with this whole thing of he should have kept it quiet, or?
I personally, for me, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying anybody else's. I'm not trying to change anybody's minds. I'm just saying, if it was me, I wouldn't have like broadcasted it via videos and this, that, and the other. Even if I did have a sponsorship, it's like I'm not going to make it. I mean, if there are those sponsors in itself, like get that visual from like, hey, look, you did this and you plugged our product, so now we could obtain something from that. But beyond that, if it was just me, if it was all on me, he's worth however
he's a
gajillions of dollars.
No, he's a billionaire.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like if he's worth like $1 gajillion, it's like, dude, you wouldn't. You could do this without without like having to broadcast it. Because like Dwayne said earlier, it's like, dude, that's the equivalent of a person going on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, whatever, and just be like, hey, look at me, I'm feeding a homeless person, as opposed to just giving him the money or just paying his meal and not broadcasting it. Again, it's a dick move.
Okay.
So what makes it a dick move though?
Yeah, I mean,
I feel again.
Those are strong sentiments.
Oh no, not, I mean, yeah, that's very aggressive on my part sounding, but I mean in the sense of like, it's like, dude, you don't have to freaking broadcast this live. Like, look at what I'm doing for all these people. It's like, bro, there's what's his name, Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett does a lot of philanthropic work. You don't broadcast that, you know.
But let me just say this though.
Shoot.
But you are different. You are talking about two different age groups.
This
Right?
definitely, yes.
Warren Buffett is
ancient. He's ancient.
in his 80s right now, right? He's probably 80.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah,
he's up there.
He's being
And then
He coughed. He could croak.
And then you have like a young teen who's that's his job. That's what he do. He's a content creator. Of course, he's gonna have like cameras and all that stuff with him because that's what he do.
That's
You know
what
what I
he
mean?
was. What's
Right.
that's all he knows.
Right. That's how he became who he became, Mr. Beast. You know what I mean? So it's like what I'm trying to figure out is like what makes like I think when it comes to money and somebody doing great things with money, we default, like a lot of us default to this thing like, oh, it's bad, right? How could he like we look to find the fault as opposed to the fact that like, yo, dude,
He just
a
gave
thousand
a lot of people
kids
got shoes.
that never saw just saw. How does that happen? Like, what is he doing? Like, I think the discussion can, like, I would like to hear, like, okay, what technology is he using to get these blind kids to see? Like, how does that even, like, come into fruition? Like, what was that process like? You know what I mean? Instead of maybe focusing on the fact that, like, you know, hey, he healed these blind people and he's recording it at the same time. You see, he's the Antichrist coming in. You've seen comments like that generating because he's done something like the blind see, which is reminiscent of what Jesus did.
Okay, so I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so then my question would be, if the cameras were off, would he do the same thing?
That remains to be seen, brother, because you don't know, right?
Well, yeah, but I'm
But
saying,
maybe the camera's been off and he did mad stuff, right?
Yeah.
That could be possible too. That could be like the camera was already off and you just happen to be seeing this, but he probably did a whole bunch of things while the camera was
well,
off.
no, I
Jeopardy
do
for
hear
anybody
he has done a lot of philanthropy work, so I'm not taking that away from him. But the question would be, if the cameras were off, if you weren't getting any accolade from it, would you still do it? Now that's a question that we all have to deal with. But, you know, that would be the question. I don't know if it's true of Mr. Beast. He's probably a really great person.
I
just
do
don't
think
know.
that he has done stuff off camera though. So if that's the issue, then I think he has, because he has an entire organization to do so, which is separate from his YouTube endeavors. Okay, here's something I'm trying to figure out. In all what we're saying, I didn't even think of this before. We've seen charities before. We've seen St. Jude's. We've seen, you know, Salvation Army. They're all online and talking about what they're doing.
That's actually a good point. Very
You
good
know
point.
what I mean? The Girl Scouts. You know what I mean? Out there publicizing.
You leave the Girl Scouts out of this, damn it.
You know what I'm
Leave
saying?
them out of there.
The
I want
Boy
my
Scouts.
cookies. You leave them out of this.
You know what I'm saying? I went to the CVS and the Boy Scouts told me what they wanted to do, and they wanted money from me in order to do that thing. So everybody's putting it out there that they, you know, in order to get money, they're soliciting funds and so on. So he's working to get funds. You know what I mean? Using the same thing he's doing in order to generate the revenue to do it again. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I don't see it as bad.
No, that's
just my fault.
actually a good point, because I was up at 2 a.m. in the morning and I saw the St. Jude's infomercial because they were trying to solicit funds.
Yeah,
So I
but
guess
they're trying to do something right.
Yeah.
At 2 o'clock in the morning, though?
And
You got to
also,
add like at 10 o'clock in the morning.
right, and also when there is some natural disaster or something, that's usually televised when they go and volunteer and the people are, you know, in their tents and everything.
So, right.
you see that.
But it's a question of intent. Again, then you don't know a person's intent.
Right,
All
exactly.
you see is
Exactly.
them saying, "Okay, we need money." The intent could be, "Yo, we really need money," or
Right.
me giving money to all these people makes me really great with the girls. It's like, "Oh, you're so nice."
Yeah.
that would be wrong. It's like you don't want to do that.
Would
but
it be though?
You're right.
Would yet? No, not yet.
No, yeah,
Not-
no, yeah.
But you said what would be wrong?
No, I'm saying like, okay. I guess it brings up the questions. Can
Well,
you?
no.
The question
I
is,
can hear you a little. Yes.
can you be doing something good and benefit from it, and that's okay?
Yeah, because that's what you're sowing.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
even if you take it to the extreme, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Little
We're
bit.
good.
I know
now.
it's kind of low, but
No, it's good.
I got a question. Like, if what if, let's just say, his whole reason for doing this purely, like, personally to him was for like personal gain. Like, he knew his channel would grow, his other channel would grow, he would get even bigger, he'll make even more money, and maybe that was his personal motivation for doing this. But all those people still got help. Is it still bad?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a special place in hell for him, but yeah, he did.
Whoa. Bryce,
That's plum. That's plum, bro.
Again, you didn't have one, so you can't talk.
I told you.
why.
I
That's
gave,
Don't you dare.
I told you. I gave Bryce 30 minutes.
That is why.
He did it in 15.
Well, Bryce,
Bryce is ready to
I'll peel the Band-Aid off.
Bryce, those are strong words, right? Why would you say there's
Bryce.
a special place in hell for him?
It's more of a joke, isn't it?
but
Bryce is ready to machete.
But I felt that though, Bryce.
I felt it. Whoa.
No, I felt that, Bryce. I don't think you're joking, Bryce.
okay, but there. Okay, in all seriousness though, right?
No, all
there
seriousness,
are
all seriousness.
people that do feel that way for real because this you know we know there's trolls online and people just messing
Yeah,
around.
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
We
yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
But like there are people that are like legitimately like, okay, that's wrong. What he's doing, he should not do that. So I'm trying to understand that mindset behind it. Like, what exactly about it is bad? Because I think everyone can agree at least that making 1,000 blind people see again that would not be able to do it without your help can now do 1,000 people. Like, what have
Right.
you done? You know what I mean? Like, so like,
Right.
is a good thing. That's good, right?
Of course.
What exactly makes that bad? And my question is like, when you weigh the two, like, you know what I mean? How do you weigh
Yeah.
them against each
Yeah.
other?
What makes it bad is they could actually see what the Kardashians look like. That's a
Well,
that's
well,
I told
Wow.
yeah. Okay. I'm sorry about
Cut
the
him
plum.
off. Cut
I'm
him
sorry.
off.
I'm sorry.
No more plum.
I'm sorry.
15 minutes.
that might go.
But
Cut him off.
but let me
Go ahead, Matt. We're about to jump in.
Oh,
He's gonna get us canceled. He's gonna get us
Okay, go ahead,
demonetized. He's gonna,
You're
go
crazy.
ahead, Matt.
Matt was about to jump.
I'll go after Matt.
I
That's
think
fine.
there's ways to look at it. Because like if I'm a person, right? And I can make, I can cause 1,000 people to see just by doing something simple as removing cataracts.
Mhm.
I would hope that I can use my influence to show or to expose just how wrong a system here is in this country alone.
Okay, you
Let's look at our healthcare system.
You're getting somewhere. All right.
All right.
Let's go there then.
Because like it doesn't cost much in other countries to remove cataracts.
Mhm.
In fact, there was another. There are doctors in India that are actually removing cataracts for way than less the price than what they're doing here in this country.
Mhm.
I don't know. Again, I don't know the intentions of this guy's heart or whatever, but it does look shameful to our healthcare system when
Okay.
you have people who do have problems with their cataracts, and then we're charging them like I don't even know how much it costs to do cataracts, but I know it doesn't cost as much as it does in Africa or in India.
Matt,
The
that's
inverse.
a great point.
The inverse.
But that's
Okay.
like a separate point, though. Like,
Well, no,
I
because-
want to explore that. But I'm just
Yeah,
like what I
but-
specifically want to know is
What's wrong?
the people that do think that it's bad, right?
Yeah.
Like, tell me. I want to see. Like, I legitimately want to know. Like, what is
Okay.
bad?
Okay.
okay.
Before Dwayne actually gives the answer.
No, I'm not. Come on.
No, before he actually gives the answer, I will say I believe that those people are motivated by jealousy. That is my complete belief. that these people are definitely they're upset because they're jealous. You understand what I'm saying? They know that in their
agree with you. But
in their lifetime, they probably know that they will never impact as people as greatly as he just did in that one fell swoop. So they may feel a way about that.
I can agree with that, because I think that anytime somebody do something great, they serve as a mirror
Yeah,
to other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
you know what I noticed, guys, from my experience,
Yeah.
because I've done, like, anybody has done like missionary work with
Right.
churches, and there's a lot of church people here. We've done that stuff, Haiti, etc. Anyone that's done any type of like volunteer work, I don't know, handing out turkeys, Thanksgiving, stuff like that. You never see those people in the comments on stuff like that, like criticizing
Right.
Mr. Beasts and these. It's always people that haven't done nothing. Like if you,
Yeah.
I would guarantee you that the ratio of like just people who haven't done nothing to help others, really substantially anyway,
Right.
whatever that means, like is so high in the comments of the criticisms to people like this. I guarantee you people actually do this work and know what it takes to get this work done.
Yeah.
And really have that heart
Yeah.
to help people. And look, business, you got to look. There's a term, you got to play the game.
Yeah.
To some extent.
Yeah.
Or you are doing no business
Right.
because you have to do it with people.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't exist on you can't just do it. You know what I mean? Like you need people. And like these things run on money, and some people are greedy and some people are not, or whatever. But it's like my question, why you never see like people who actually volunteer, people who actually done work like this, criticizing the big corporations and stuff for doing stuff like this in advertising.
I wanted to get to your first question before we jump to another one. So, charity work is at base others centered. So it's basically I'm not getting a benefit from this. All of the benefit is going to my benefactor. So, in the 40s, or I forget when he's Bumpy Johnson. He was a gangster in Harlem. Every Christmas, every Thanksgiving, he would go out and give turkeys to the people in his neighborhood. This was before social media. So he would give his stuff and nobody really know it except for the people that are there. There were people doing charity work in India or places of that nature whom you will never hear about, which is fine. So a lot of times when you bring that social media aspect into it, we all are doing it for likes. We're doing it for things of that nature. So to get the audience involved, I just learned Courtney's name, so I'm going to use her a lot. Okay, so say Courtney comes up to me and say, Dwayne, I need this, or I need some money, or I need some help with something. If I give her the help, but then I'm going on my social media page and be like, hey, look, I just gave Courtney some help with the money, it's going to be a bit of a dick move. Now we've so connected social media, it's gotten into the epoch of this age that we don't see any disconnection when it comes to it. If somebody needs help, you give them help, right. But it's others centered. I'm not supposed to get a benefit. It's not how it works.
To that point,
go ahead, sir.
So, well taken. I agree. I don't think that people should, exploit others in giving, especially, I mean, you gave a personal example. If I go out and I'm helping Courtney or whatever, and she asks me for help, why am I going to blow that up in front of everybody? Yeah, that's a messed up thing to do. I think it's a false dichotomy in a sense to put these two things next to each other, because they're not equal in the sense that, at least in the case of Mr. Beast, which is what we're talking about, right? He's this is not him as a person just giving help. I'm sure he's done lots of it. I would assume he seems like a nice guy. Yeah, that we probably have no clue about. Right, but he has a channel and he has a platform, and he's built this platform as a normal business and made cajillions of dollars, right? Right. So he's super rich. The company is super rich. He's made and he has all these viewers. Would you not? I mean, I think he would get criticized for not using his platform to help people. Whoa. So that's one. Let me just give the other part of it. Go ahead. The real reason why I think it's a false dichotomy is because, he's not just putting it out there purely to show people, hey, look what I've done, praise me and give me money on my channel. That he has a separate channel, first of all, for all of that charity work. And the I think one of the videos he did put it on his main channel, but all of the proceeds that he makes on that channel goes back into the charity company
Right.
that he has. So he's making $0 off of any of this stuff. Does that change anybody's view now?
Well, no, absolutely.
I think
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
I think to you and to Rick's point, I think we got to look at the times that we're in now. Like, is this the 2020 version of St. Jude? Is this how charity works in this era? Feed the children. Does the method look different now?
Yeah.
Because we're in the social media age, everything is just going to be televised.
I don't think it's that different as opposed to like,
But no, what I mean is like this is just
Can I
this
throw this
version. This is
back in the
Can I-
day it was
this method.
newspapers and TV.
Can I throw
but
this
now
layer
it's
in
just
there?
social media.
But that's but
Right.
that's what I'm saying to your point.
Yeah.
And to Rick's point, is this the 2020 version of
Yeah.
what St. Jude is doing, what Feed the Children is doing, and
Seems so.
we look at it as being
So,
exposed.
so let me ask you this: who's the face of St. Jude?
The children mostly, because you don't know.
You never see the face, right?
You never see.
So who's
yeah.
the face of the Salvation Army?
Santa Claus,
You never see the
the
face.
guy ringing the bell.
No,
ding, ding,
no,
ding.
no.
Who sees the face? Nobody sees the face.
No, Newman.
No. I'm getting to a point.
Okay.
Right? The reason why I'm saying that is because I think there's a historical component that I want to just throw in there, right? It's because he's white. And the historical component of that is white people, when it comes to helping black people, has been looked at or is, in fact, the colonizers,
Okay.
as they call it. You know what I mean? So what happens is when black folks see that, I feel like it's almost like, instead of like, it's hard to look at the good of what somebody's doing when that historical component is still in play and it still hasn't been rectified or reconciled in any way, shape, or form. So when you see that, he might be a great person, an amazing person, but because the color of his skin, our community is like, nah, he's trying to exploit once again. You see, and I think that layer, I feel like, rises up. So to answer your question, Faku, like I think that's one of the components. Is like we can't get past that. We can't get past the fact that, like, listen, he's actually given a lot of shoes. 1,000 kids see now, right? His color sometimes prohibits our community from being able to be like, oh yeah, he's doing something good. Like the initial reaction is like, yeah, nah, they got to be something wrong that he's doing. So yeah, go ahead. I just want to throw that out before you finish your point.
Well, I know.
That's
but
racist.
I think it's warranted in a couple of places because
In a couple of places.
if-
But hold on, before you say that, Danny
Danny
Thomas founded St. Jude's.
Danny Thomas.
Yeah,
I don't know who he is. I don't know.
He was an entertainer in the 60s.
He was an entertainer.
He was a big time entertainer.
What's his nationality?
He's American.
What does he look like? Is he white? Is he
Yeah, he
a
is.
white man?
Yes, very.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That wasn't the founder of Wendy's.
Salvation
Danny
Army.
Thomas?
Who's the person? Anybody know? Who's the face of somebody? Who started Salvation Army?
I don't have no idea.
Don't know.
You know what I think? Like, I'm not the person that's gonna make these excuses, but I see these points and I hear it all the time, right? What I'm saying is, I think that if there's no reconciliation to what the historical aspects of black people in this world and in the United States, whenever you see these things, it's almost every single time they're going to think that it's bad
Well,
because things haven't been much reconciled between those worlds.
Yeah.
Well, right.
Just yet.
So just to give you when it comes to Africa, when it comes to places like Haiti, these are lands that had a great amount of resources. A certain group of people stripped them of those resources, and
You
then
can say,
when those
say the group. Who's the group?
Europeans, Europeans,
No, I mean,
Americans,
We're talking.
Yeah.
No,
Europeans,
it's
Americans,
history.
and Canadians.
and Canadians.
Right, right.
So they stripped them of those resources, and then when those people became poor, they was like, let's give them some shoes, as if they're not the reason that they're like that.
That they don't have shoes.
But now they don't have shoes. So, and also I grew up, like my family's been in America for a basic generation. So I went to regular school. When I went to school, places like Africa, Haiti, and things like was taught to me that they were extremely poor. Everybody was walking around with no shoes when that wasn't the case. It's just, you know, we just got a false. We based on what the colonizers, they gave us a certain narrative and said that these places were poor, they were evil, or they had the devil in them, and you know you shouldn't mess with them at all. So those are, you know, that's wrong. So when somebody like Mr. Beast, who looks a certain way, if he's getting any type of benefit from what he's doing, that's why black people are going to call foul on him.
Perceived benefit.
It's almost like a trigger
Right.
to our
Yeah.
community. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's just like, wait a minute, like you've done all that,
Yeah.
right? And you went to, for example, like you go to Africa to give to the poor, right? Let me just throw this caveat in there. There are schools right here in the Bronx, bro, that are struggling, that gets like crappy foods. Like, where's the donation to them kids that are right inside your community? Why Africa? Why not here? Like, you live right here, bro. Like right in the Bronx. So my thing is like, as in looking at these comments and seeing like, and trying to be objective as possible and seeing like, all right, why are they actually fighting this whole narrative of this guy doing this great work,
Yeah.
right? It's because when you don't have reconciliation on anything or no resolve or anything, but you're always going to have that, period. It doesn't matter like how great he does. He could heal 100 million people. It really won't matter until it gets to the point where whatever happened in this history, we reconcile that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, until then, you know, you'll, you know, to answer to try to answer the question, right? Because I was looking at the comments because I didn't know too much about it, right? So I was looking at the comments to be like, okay, let me see what people are saying. Then you see these little jabs. Oh, you know what? They always doing this to us, like these type of things that you hear in these different chats, and I'm like, oh, okay, I see what it is. It's a pain that hasn't been healed yet.
Right.
Well,
Right.
yeah, you're gonna that would have to be a lot of it, I would think. That would
Yeah.
have to be a lot of, because I mean, as far as like people getting rich off of some type of entertainment and showing themselves enjoying their money, we see that all the time, and people don't get as upset about that. There's a lot of people who get rich off of entertainment, so you know, the everyday person's money going into their pocket, and they showing, you know, I got this car, I got this thing,
So
I got this.
you mean black people?
You know what I'm saying?
No. I want you to
afraid
know.
to say it.
No, I'm just
be
saying
specific.
people.
Be specific, bro.
People.
Well, let's put this out there because you
come on, man.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Black
only
people.
who's the community?
rappers, and
Okay, rappers.
and those
All right, here we go.
musicians,
Rappers and pastors. And
Rappers do that the most.
mutes and pastors and all those people.
So it's rappers is who?
Pastors and, you know, black progressive and all that stuff.
Cosby. It's the rappers, and the
Right,
rappers
all those
and
people.
the pastors,
You know what I'm saying?
and then you got the
chewing gum and the
you-
hey,
So-
hey,
so-
hey, fake cool.
Yeah.
Pull up your
Yeah,
pants.
Hey, I'm not feeling anything. Can I have another plum?
So we
Oh,
can.
no, don't do it.
No.
I'm supposed to be singing Megan Thee Stallion at this point. I'm supposed to be doing Megan Thee Stallion at this point. Hands on my
hold on,
knees, shaking ass with my thigh shit.
You're not stealing anything.
Dwayne gets no more blunts.
Dwayne, you're not.
If these rappers need to pull up
Why?
Why?
If you're not feeling anything,
Why?
that is a sign that you need to stop.
Listen, sir. If I'm not singing WAP at this point, it's not working.
If you're not feeling anything,
Hide that.
If I'm not singing WAP at this point,
Yo,
it's not
hide-
working.
Hide that bottle.
if
Hide that-
you're not feeling anything, you need a doctor. Okay,
Just saying.
you can't.
Go
you
ahead,
can't.
man.
Trying to
Yeah.
turn up.
You
Sorry.
can't get the, no, I think he
You're
was saying
saying-
something.
you're
I think
saying-
Matt was saying something.
It's the rappers, the pastors, and all the actors and celebrities. They just do everything.
They don't give nothing away. They take everything for themselves. That's the problem.
Oh,
they got the big
But
yacht.
no,
the
here's-
boats. What's that?
You said something
Worldwide.
Space.
Can somebody be wealthy? Can somebody be wealthy?
But let's put it like this, because you said something about
Matt, go ahead.
Hey,
Matt,
you
go
said
ahead.
something
Matt, go ahead.
about
Okay.
there's people here in the Bronx, and you make a good point. But let's put it like this: is it easier to do charity in the continent of Africa versus
Yeah.
North America?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Is it easier? Who said yes?
I said yes because
I-
it probably most likely would be tax deductible.
Nah.
It was like
It would be tax deductible here too. It'll be tax deductible here too.
no, but I mean in the sense of it would be cheaper to do it in another continent
Yeah,
as
because
opposed to
like
here.
you're dealing with
I think Courtney
politics.
has something.
Okay, you're saying your dollar might go further. Is that what you're saying?
I think
Okay.
Courtney's eyes look like she got
Courtney want to say something.
Courtney's eyes look like
She
got
want to
something
talk
say. Go
about
ahead.
the poverty in the local poverty.
No, I was gonna say that it is a lot easier to do it overseas, hence than doing it in the Bronx. Because think about rappers. Look what happened to Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
That's a good example right there. A lot of people don't want to see you succeed,
Right.
and then you're going to these countries with people that are, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not even struggling, but the fact that they're more appreciative of the work that you're
yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
Think about rappers that go over. Nicki Minaj, she goes overseas and she says her fan base over there way different, way more appreciative of her music over
Yeah.
there than over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So over here, it's a lot more harder to do the work that you want because it's jealousy.
There you go.
Jealousy is a big thing.
There you
It's a
go.
big component.
No, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good
it.
point.
That's right. That's right.
I saw it in your eyes.
That's the best point all night. That's the best. That's the best point all night.
I can see it. I can
There's
see it in your eyes.
There's a seat over here for you.
Why don't you have a drink?
Wait, why she get my seat?
Yo,
Why she get my seat, sir?
You make a good point. You need to be up on the. What the hell is going on here?
you trying to replace Dwayne?
Why you
We
get my seat?
need the plums to sit together. We need two plums. The two plums up on the couch.
I am totally lucid,
No,
sir.
you don't want to sing together because you might get demonetized. Look at here.
We getting money for this? Are we?
want some money.
Yeah.
I think that's probably my fault.
It's like they might, when they're thinking about, they might look back in the history and see this one.
Yo, Matt, you was gonna say something though, right?
Well, yeah, I think and to add to that, it's not just the jealousy. I think it's also the politics.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
No, yeah.
you got to go through so many loopholes with the government and signing this, signing that. I mean, I imagine so. Versus, doing a charity overseas, like you're not gonna deal
Yeah.
with, like certain legislation. I remember, like even here in New York, they were getting on people who were feeding, people who were handing out, like these food
Pantry.
things, food pantry.
Uh-huh.
And they were saying, they were coming down on the state of the food. Like they go through so much,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's like, why? They're feeding, I understand you got to check, for sanitation and things of that matter.
Absolutely.
But it's like the hell that they go through just to feed their community. Some of these neighborhoods.
It's not easy.
Well, yeah, some of the
not
stuff.
easy.
Well, when it comes to food quality, some of that stuff is needed because certain
Yeah.
times, like when you're giving out
yeah,
free
some of
food,
it, yeah.
some of that stuff has bugs in it.
Right.
You want to check,
Right.
to see
Yeah.
what type of food you're giving them.
Yeah.
So I'm all right with that, but it is when it comes to red tape, you need a permit for everything. That's
Right.
America's
sir.
like that, so
Yes, sir.
that's unfortunate.
Here's another thing I'm thinking, right? Now don't kill me. All right. Here's the basic thing I'm thinking. It might be easier to find who needs overseas than over here. You get what I'm saying?
Go ahead, explain.
Like it might be easier to find out who is actually in need in those communities rather than over here. You see what I'm saying? Some people could come over here and say they need, but they really don't.
Are you saying that some people will fake it? Like,
Yeah, I mean, okay,
I
so
need help, but it's
Right,
like,
right. So it's-
you clearly have a pantry full of food. You're like,
Yeah, exactly.
Who are you bullshitting? Who you bull-
yeah. So I think it's like okay. So an example would be people who's like lifetime welfare, just traditional. The families just keep going for generations on welfare, that stuff. Of course, I know that's both races do that. That's not just one race.
There's one race that does more than
I
another.
want you to be specific. you gotta give me the
And
race.
it's not the one you think.
I heard that, Dwayne. That
It's
is
not the one you think.
that is not the point. Yeah, we know that. We know they.
just
we
saying.
understand. That's not the point I was making. All I was saying is that's an example of I think it's a little easier to see who's like who's actually in need.
So
Well,
Ricky,
no.
Ricky's really saying black people.
No,
You cause.
No,
You
not
are the
even.
cause of this.
Not even. White people. White people take a majority of welfare
welfare, yes.
benefits.
Yes, they do. But
No, but I think Rick, that's what we're going.
No.
That's what.
I was giving
That's
an
what
example.
you really want to say.
I was like,
pull your pants up.
You,
young boy.
are you Uncle Ruckus, sir? You got Uncle Ruckus on the damn table. What are we doing? Black
You're not
people
trying
with
to
your
put me
big nostrils,
You're not
breathing all the white man's air.
Oh my gosh.
That's what you told. That's what we doing.
Oh my.
That's what we
gosh.
doing, Ricky. Really?
Is that where we went with this?
That's what it sounded like.
Yo, what the hell were we talking about?
I don't know.
I don't know now.
I missed the
Why?
point.
Why?
I missed the point.
We went on a tangent. So let me circle back to the tangent.
All right, man,
The rappers and the actors and the pastors.
We were talking about doing charity in foreign countries as
All right,
opposed to
yes,
the United
yes,
States
we
and
back.
stuff. Yeah, just being able
so
to.
it's harder to do it over here
Yeah.
because of jealousy and all these red tapes. You gotta
Right.
Gotta go
And
through.
also, I think somebody mentioned it, but it wasn't on the mic. It was your dollar may actually go further in other countries.
Who mentioned that? Who mentioned that?
And also, here's the thing:
somebody did.
we knew,
think somebody
like,
did.
there was a huge charitable opportunity here that went unnoticed for about at least 10 years, and that would be the Flint water crisis. Like, they didn't have water for damn near a decade. Like, to the point where it was no longer in the news cycle, and people had to remind you Flint still doesn't have water.
That's not important.
So I think they're just getting to changing the pipes there. So when it comes to people that are actually in need here,
Yeah.
it's clear to see. But they, a lot of times I guess.
No,
it's
but
not-
wouldn't that be like a mismanagement of resources? That one right there.
Why would it be a mismanagement of resources? It
Because-
was actually pretty inexpensive
No,
to change
because I'm saying, like, you see, when we talk about, again, let's do the thing, like, let's actually separate these countries, right? We say in Africa,
Right,
but
right.
they're separate countries. So
Well, yeah, of course.
even if Africa has some rich countries
Mm-hmm.
who are well to do and able to, handle, they don't need any outside help.
Yeah.
America, you see, that community was in America.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you have federal funds, you have all those things that we all pay into.
Right. That's right.
So if some of that funds is not helping that community, that's a mismanagement of the funds.
Absolutely.
So is
And
that
it was.
But I'm saying
is that exploitation?
No, I'm not. No, I'm trying to make the point that it's not that they needed help from an outside source and it wasn't there. It was just mismanagement of funds. Whereas on the other side, they actually don't have money. The government, you know what I mean? Like, as far as the resources they have in
But
that country.
it's portrayed that they don't have money.
Well, those who actually don't. There are some which actually don't. There are some which are still recovering from war and famine and stuff like that and so on. They're an enterprise, and most of them are enterprising, but they still have a ways to go.
Let me just throw this caveat in there because some Africans will tell you like, yo, a lot of this is nonsense. We have money.
No, of course,
we
of
have
course.
riches
Of
involved.
course.
But the perception is they don't have any money, and here we go. We're gonna go help these poor Africans.
Right.
And then some Africans are tight about that.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what do you say to that? Like, because even in Haiti, right? When I went to Haiti, after a long time, my grandma passed away. Blah blah blah. I went to Haiti, and a lot of the stuff that you see broadcast on the news is nowhere close. Now you do have your segments, right? But then you do have your segments that are fully functional, right? And you say to yourself like, yo, wait a minute, I thought I was coming to a whole war zone everywhere. Like you
Yeah,
can't,
yeah, yeah.
but
Yeah.
no, the airports was fine, everything was cool,
Right,
the people's good,
Right.
but it's just media will often give you this perception that this is what it is in the country until you go there yourself and see for yourself. You know what I mean? So that's another play too.
Yeah, it is.
Well, and
It
also
is. It is.
okay. So what I'm saying is one, that was a mismanagement of funds, because if America is giving all this money overseas to
Exactly.
different war efforts,
Exactly.
but your people don't have water, there's an issue.
Exactly.
But then here's another thing.
Now, how about
If-
people still paying student loans? But go ahead.
Well, right. But if you're living on the continent of Africa and you're getting mad because people are coming over there and giving poor people shoes, but you have money, then why are we coming over there to give poor people shoes, and why aren't you doing it?
No, I agree.
So,
I agree.
yeah,
I
right.
agree.
So-
Like,
so,
I
yeah.
mean, listen. I'm not countering Mr. Beast because I think he's doing a great thing.
No, yeah,
I'm coming from the perspective of like, yo, okay, what are the people from the comments saying? What are the Africans saying?
Yeah.
What are the Christian folks
Yeah.
are saying? You know what I mean? Like, and try to be a little bit objective about it in terms of like, okay, do they have a point,
Well, I believe
right, or not?
Well, because there's always, you got to always think that there's something deeper. You know, I think our conspiracy minds are always thinking there's something behind it.
Like, what's your intent? What's your intent?
Yeah, what's the intent? Because like when we look at what was going on, well, we look at what's going on in places like the Congo or in Haiti, and we look at, well, there's resources. Why are they going in here? They're showing themselves one way and then pirating the other. They're like giving and pirating in the same umbrella. You know, at one minute they're saying, oh, you know, charity, feed the children, and then they're exposing the children and having them work in these cobalt mines.
Right.
You know, same thing.
Kyrie went off on that.
Yeah, same thing in Haiti. You know, you have feed the children, this, that, and then like you're taking aluminum, you're taking gold, you're taking, you know.
So my question would be now, where do you draw the line between business and exploitation? That's a great point.
There's no line.
Which is a great segue to come into this.
I don't believe
so
there's
where do
a line.
you draw that line? Do they go hand in hand?
No, I don't believe that there is a line. I think business by nature is exploitive, in the sense of where in order to make a profit, you have to withhold profit from someone else. So if
Economia, the study of lack.
Right. That's where the word economics.
That is
Economics
that
comes
is a
from.
new word. Thank you, sir. So yeah, in order to
okay, go ahead.
Go ahead,
Right.
go ahead, finish.
So
But go.
Go ahead.
so in order to have business or business run well, you have to withhold money or from somebody else. That's how it has to happen.
So in order for wealth to exist, somebody has to lack.
Exactly. Yeah.
Matt, in order for wealth to exist,
What do you mean you have to withhold it?
go ahead.
It's a necessity. What do you? I mean, I know it happens, but
Right.
is that a
When
necessity?
I say withhold it.
Yeah.
How can I put this?
Yeah, give an example.
Someone has to suffer.
I can do an example and I'll explain from the example.
Right, exactly.
So music business stuff. I don't know so much about it, but as far as those 360 deals, I believe that they came up with, where they take money from all of your ventures and they basically are able to keep that money for themselves, in a sense. That's what I'm thinking. This is just I'm a layman. I'm not in the music business at all. But
Okay, well, go ahead.
That's
go
a
ahead.
real complicated concept.
it is.
Yeah.
It
You
is.
give
it-
it different.
Right. Okay, that's complicated. Okay, so Apple,
Yeah.
they make iPhones. They have people that work in their factories to make iPhones. One of the things that they got a lot of backlash from is from child labor. Like some of the stuff that was done was child labor. They're of course not paying. With globalization, they have their factories in poor countries so that
Where,
they don't.
what poor countries?
I believe one was in India. There was a big one in India, where they don't have to pay them, and they don't have the regulation to say that you can't use child labor for making those products. Now, the person that's at the head of Apple is extremely rich, but the reason that he's rich is because he doesn't have to pay a quote unquote, and I'm putting that in quotes for a reason, fair wage to those frontline workers.
Got it.
So in order for him to keep, like, if he paid everybody of like $200,000 or $100,000, which is crazy, he wouldn't necessarily be wealthy anymore. So the whole thing with business is trying to not really cut corners, but just basically
Find cheap labor.
Find cheap labor in order to do it. But that's the nature of business. So I'm not saying I haven't gotten to the moral aspect yet. I'm just saying that's how business works and that's how it runs.
I don't think so. I fundamentally disagree with that.
Okay.
Like that's so wrong on so many levels.
You got to say how it is. So go ahead.
Yeah, there is. Okay, I have a lemonade stand.
Okay.
Right? And I guess I don't know. It costs me $1 in ingredients, and I'm selling my lemonade with my lemons and water that I made myself. It cost me $1 to make everything. By the end of the day, when I sell all the lemonade, I make $20. Right. So I just 20x'd my investment of $1. Who did I cheat? Who did I withhold, in your words, funds from?
Wait, do you have employees?
Okay, so let's go to employees. So my lemonade stand blows up.
Right.
Everyone loved Faku's lemonade. So I hire 5 people.
Mhm.
I make an agreement with these people for a certain amount of money for hours worked. They agree to what I offer. I pay them that exactly, and I follow all the regulations according to the law of the land where I live.
Right.
To do the insurances and all the things that you need to do to take care of employees. Who am I withholding money from?
No. Yeah, that wasn't my point.
That's
My-
what you said.
No.
No?
My
Okay,
original,
maybe I misunderstood.
Right. My original point was, I'm saying my thesis was business by nature is exploitive.
Yeah,
Now I'm
how?
saying that right. I'm saying, let's just say, using your example, I go to a poor country and it's like, okay, if you make this, and I,
Well, Dwayne, before you go there, right?
Okay.
Because I don't want to get lost.
right.
Like I just gave you an example of that's my business.
Right. No.
My lemonade.
Okay. No, you
So
didn't exploit
tell me
anybody.
in that model, who's being exploited?
Right. No, I'm saying that you have negotiated a price with somebody. They agreed to that price.
Yeah.
Right. So basically you're not doing them any wrong because they've agreed to the price and that's what
Obviously,
they're doing.
yeah.
So but what I'm saying is taking it to another level. I'm saying, is the price that you're giving them fair in the sense of where it's a living?
Well, I guess it's a question of
right.
what
That's
is
the
fair,
question.
right?
So yeah,
So then
that would be the moral
fair-
aspect of it. Yeah.
me would then you're going morally, and there's probably no answer to that.
Right. Exactly.
Fair
So
for
yeah.
everybody would be in a different place, right?
Right. Of course.
So I don't see that.
go ahead.
So that negates your point to me. I mean, I don't see how by nature it's exploitive. I know there are businesses that exploit people and they're terrible,
Right.
But not all of them.
So here's
okay, I have a business, right? And I try to run my business with integrity, and I try to do well by everyone that works with me, and I have an incredible track record. Everyone who's ever worked with me has good things to say. I think I pay, the people that work for me very, very fairly, and even better to be. This has nothing to do with really what we're talking about, but personally, like I try to, like whenever I negotiate money with people for whatever work we do, I always overpay.
yeah.
I always do that. Whatever we agree upon, I always like to give a little extra. 'Cause
Right.
That's just me. That's just my thing. If I especially if I do well on a project or something like that. But anyway, my point is like even operating like that, like I don't see that. I don't see how the nature
Right.
of business is exploited.
Well, okay.
I know the nature of business is to make a profit, but it doesn't necessitate exploitation. You
Okay.
can use exploitation.
Right. That's no. Okay. So
Can I throw this in there? Can I throw this in there?
No, hold on.
I
I'm
want
gonna give it to you. Hold
I
on.
want
Let
you
me.
to answer.
Sorry, that was
I want
No.
you to answer.
But let me. Okay. No. I'm
Whoa,
answering.
go ahead,
I'm
go ahead,
answering.
go ahead.
Take
No, I
that-
just want to throw a caveat.
No, I know.
A little,
Before you do the caveat.
a little sprinkle.
No, I just want to say, no, you get the sprinkle. You
can-
get
I can
all the piss.
sprinkle?
You'll be able to piss it all over. But I'm saying,
Go ahead, go ahead, Dwayne.
Sure,
Go
real
ahead.
quick,
handle it.
Sean,
Go ahead, Dwayne.
real quick. That was a good point. So with my words, I was incorrect. So I'm saying business can be exploitive, but the nature of it is not that. It's to make a profit. So that is
Yes,
correct.
yes, okay.
So, but what I'm saying is,
So I mean, now that we have that fair playing ground,
Yeah.
that's so we see eye on that.
so
Now
right.
we talk about the business that are
right.
exploiting
So
people.
so if I have child labor in India, which might be which be legal where we are. So legally, I can do it. I can have a 4-year-old make whatever. And then we would have a question of whether that's morally right or wrong. But then if we're just going by legality, then there's no answer to that, which can be
No, well,
which
I mean,
which
there
can-
would be, right?
no
Legally,
no,
there would be.
No, I'm saying no, it wouldn't be legally because if it's legal
Right.
for me to have child labor in that particular place,
Right.
then legally I can do it.
Right. So,
We would have
it's legal.
Right, so it's legal. So we would just be talking about morally. So go ahead,
Right.
Space. What were you going to say?
All right. So what I was going to say is this:
Sprinkles, please.
is when we talk about the word fair wages,
Right.
right? That has to do with the concept of time. For
Okay.
example, I think fair wages has to be, you have to look at it from the perspective of how much time does it take to complete this task? Like, how much time does it take to make these apple chips, right? If it takes 16-hour days or 18-hour days, right? And you're paying people like $4 an hour for those things, right? I would equate that to not being fair wages, even if they agree, right? So I'm not talking about the whole thing of agreement. I'm talking about fair wages, which leads to a moral aspect of things, which we know business has no morals. Well, most business it's not about
Yeah, it's not about morals. with that.
morality. But what I can say with fair wages is time, right? If it takes me this much time to produce this thing based on the project that you gave me, right? Then there needs to be some type of renegotiation based on the time that it takes. Now, it's multi-layered, right? So now, if it takes me much time because your lack of skill, that's different. You know what I mean?
Right.
If it takes more time because it's the company, then the company, it would be great for the company to say, well, let me give you a little bit extra because the nature of this project is taking a lot longer than
Because of us.
usual because of us.
Right.
Now, if it's taking a lot longer because you're just lazy,
Right.
then
Should you be compensated?
You can't be
No, you
it's
can't.
not even fair. It's not fair, right?
It's not fair.
It's not fair to go ask for compensation
But that's
for something that you lack.
so how are you going to measure that?
But that's all. It's a case by case basis.
It is.
That's what I'm saying. It's multi-layered. It's
Layered,
not
exactly,
just like
exactly.
oh,
You know,
you're just gonna put this across board.
What I like to think about with business and products, because we all talking about products here, right? Whether it's a record you're putting out, whether it's you selling candy, whether you selling lemonade, it's a product. What I like to consider, because I think this kind of helps to frame it in a way where it's equivalent among all things. It's value.
Right.
You see what I mean? Because value takes into consideration time. It also takes into consideration skill. It also takes into consideration scarcity, which is what economics is all about. It's how rare is that thing, right? That's why we pay more for gold. Because we're saying there's not as much gold to go around. You know, so it costs more. So it's like if you look at the value of the thing, if you're going to talk about if it's fair, the price you're paying or whatever the wages, then it has to do with is what's being exchanged, the value you're given, are you being paid for that value? You know what I mean? So that's kind of what it is, because again, we have dirty jobs, right? So the guy who goes into the sewer and cleans that up and roaches all over himself, and he spends 15 minutes doing that and gets like, $2,000 for doing that because nobody else wants to do it. We want to get mad. 15 minutes of work, what the heck? You know what I mean? He's not a doctor, not a surgeon.
Let me ask you this then.
Yeah.
How do you measure value?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like you have to find a way of doing that. Generally speaking, it's whoever is paying for that would be able to set what the value is, because that's how we do it.
All right. Let me just
In economics, that's how they do it.
I might. All right. That's good, right? But
Right.
But we're measuring value now, right?
Yes.
I might come into my office, and every time I come into my office, this custodian, he whoops up the room exactly how I want it. He makes it so much easier for me to come in and work.
Right.
I find that highly valuable,
Right.
Because it increases my productivity,
Right.
Whereas like the corporate world might not see him as valuable as I
Right.
might see him
Yes.
as being valuable,
Yes.
because there's something that he does that's so small, but it contributes to my work life,
Productivity.
my
Right,
productivity.
right,
You know
right,
what I mean?
right. So he creates value in the whole thing.
Right.
He's part
so
of that chain.
how do you like it's
No, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying
right,
that's the
that's what I'm
only way
saying.
to.
It's hard
is.
to just put
It is.
value into just one umbrella.
Well, what we say in the West is value is measured by money. So if somebody is willing to pay an amount for that, so in other words, is that creating value in this in your life? You said yes, right? A better custodian is valuable to you as opposed to an average one that really doesn't care and just does the basics, right? So it's like, yeah, that person should be paid more because they're creating more value, and so on. It's something that, especially in retail, you hear that, right? Like if somebody's well, I did that, like I sold computers, and so somebody comes in, I want a computer, this and that and stuff. If you're able to actually match them with the perfect computer for exactly what they're trying to do, it's better than a guy who's like, they're over there. Pick one, the black one works, that's it. He didn't create value. It creates value when you tell a person, well, you'd also need this particular software in order to accomplish what you need. This will help you, whether it's, I'm just going to use antivirus as a thing, you know, this is going to keep you up and running. You won't have downtime. That'll give you more productivity, all that stuff. You're creating value. So that product should cost more. You see what I'm saying? If you go to a store and salespeople are doing all that for you, that product might cost you more than if you go by the market and just a guy had some, you know, computers that, hey, here's one, 150. You know what I mean? And he wants to charge you a lot. It doesn't make sense. So that's creating value. That would cost more. You'd pay more for that. That makes sense. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's intangible, but
Right.
it created value.
I have a question. We were talking about Matt was talking about, you know, the rich black people with the thing, doing the thing, whatever you built.
No,
Rappers,
I think that was me.
Yeah.
I think that was me. He just took it up.
All right.
Pastors.
I know we talk a lot about Kanye West on here, and I promise I won't bring
We
it
do?
up after this.
We do?
Kanye.
You said
Who's there?
Yeah, after this. I'm not.
Why not?
What's that?
I'm not. Gonna,
What's a Kanye?
so. We all know what happened to Kanye. A horrible thing. Horrible. He,
What-
you know, basically.
what happened to Kanye?
No, as far as the tirade about the people who shall not be named.
His ex-family?
No, as far as Jewish people. stuff like that.
Rhymes with who?
His comments about anti-Semitic comments.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
after that, because he was a billionaire, he was listed as a billionaire, and then after he made those comments, people stopped working with him, and instantly, within a couple of days, he was no longer a billionaire. So my question is,
he's back now.
oh, is he?
He's back, baby.
Yep.
I didn't hear that.
Adidas,
you
Adidas and Kanye are back.
Oh well, yeah. No, I'm gonna get to that. But what I'm trying to get to, and it's good that he's back. But what I'm trying to get to is, if you're a billionaire and you do not have the freedom to say what you want to say, as opposed to a Elon Musk, when he bought Twitter, he was saying whatever he wanted. People were mad, but it did not mess with his money at all. People like Warren Buffett, who can pretty much do and say whatever they want and never have any. Yeah. Well, yeah. There is a difference, but I would go as far to say.
What are you saying? What are you saying?
I'm saying that you're only as rich if you have handlers. You're only
So
as
who are
rich
the
as your
handlers?
handlers. Whoever was getting
Let's go deep.
bankroll. Well, Adidas would have been one, but I guess Adidas can't go by themselves, which is the reason why they took them back. But when it comes to freedom, there are certain people that have freedom. There are certain people that really don't. They have the money. So Diddy can't basically say what's on his mind without, if he insults somebody, especially when it comes to money, if they deplatform him or things of that nature, he will lose that.
Well, let me throw this caveat. I'm back to this thing again, right? All those people you mentioned are white.
Mm-hmm.
You want to see a pattern here?
No.
Well,
So name me one black person that could go say whatever he wants.
Dave Chappelle.
And no, he cannot.
Yes, he can.
No, he cannot.
A guy attacked
he
him
cannot.
when he told some jokes.
He said some
That
pretty
dude was
outlandish.
man.
Dave Chappelle.
No, that
is-
audience
dude is
member,
not the man.
that audience
Dave
member
Chappelle
attacked
is
him
an
when he told a joke.
Yeah.
An incredible comedian and a high intellectual. He's very savvy with his words.
I'm saying he's
Right.
damn near close.
But if he came out blatantly like Kanye West, no way. There's no way.
He said a few
He's
things
very-
about the
but
trans
he's
community
very-
and
if
that
you-
they came out.
But if you watch him carefully, he's very savvy.
He's very
Yeah, you know,
careful.
I don't.
Very,
Yeah.
he's
How he
very savvy.
phrases
How
it.
he phrases it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
But he
Yeah.
I mean, if there's anybody that he said some crazy stuff. Like, you know, he
Like
wasn't playing.
And
blatantly
he got
come out.
backlash.
Right.
He got backlash, but was it really because he never stopped working?
What I'm saying is there's a pattern. Like everybody you've mentioned are white people.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me. Like
black person,
like who are
a black
who
person
are the
that
handlers?
I mean, I don't think he said
black
crazy. I
person.
don't think Chappelle really said
I mean, he's no
crazy
longer
stuff.
with us, but Paul
So
Mooney said whatever the fuck he wanted.
Trump said you just grabbed them by the pussy and still became president. That's my point. You know, that's my point. Is Trump black or white? I'm saying.
It
He's
depends on who you
orange.
ask.
He's not white. He's orange.
But whatever the case may be, he said, I grabbed by the pussy. It can't be any more blatant than that. It can't be any more like raw than that.
But you don't know who he was grabbing by the pussy.
But yo, he was grabbing every. He said,
Just
yo,
anybody
could have been
in
a man.
general.
He was-
That's a
he was-
It could
no-no.
have been a man.
he was talking on the bus.
It could have been a man. He was grabbing by
He
the
was
pussy.
talking to that TV host
How do
on
you
the
do
bus.
that, sir?
He was talking to that TV host on the bus behind closed doors.
do a background
And he was
check on Rick.
He was like, listen, man, you just gotta grab him in the face. You just gotta look him in the eye and grab them by the pussy. Like this was his comments, bro. How much raw can that get?
Yeah, but that was to women.
You know
a
what
lot
I
of
mean?
times people.
Oh, you
know,
clearly didn't hear a Paul Mooney stand up.
really don't care.
All I'm saying is you're saying handlers. I want you to
Right.
explain who are the handlers. But you also said
Okay,
that-
hold on,
that
hold on,
all
hold
these
on.
people that you mentioned,
So-
all these people that you mentioned was white people.
Right.
So talk to me. Like, what's going on?
No, but
Where's the-
I'm
where's
trying
the
to
pattern?
understand what you're saying, though. You're saying they don't have handlers, the white people.
I say that there's different rules for them.
Different rules.
That's what I'll say.
No, you know what? I don't think that there's different rules. I think it depends on who's who. You know, I think you got to look
The
at.
protection for the complexion, basically.
Well,
Okay,
no, you know
no,
what it is.
okay,
I think
let me-
it has to do with.
Man, let me throw this who's who, right?
Okay.
A kid goes in to a church and shoots a bunch of black people and goes to Burger King afterwards. A kid is at the park playing with a toy gun and he's black and he gets shot even before a word, 11 years old.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here?
Yeah, but you're talking about two different things.
No, but what I'm saying is look at the difference, right? When I'm saying the rules apply differently. I'm like, yes, like I wanted you to go deeper and say who the handlers are, right? But everybody you mentioned so far, you haven't mentioned one black person. You've mentioned all white people. So then if you're saying that based on the evidence and what you're saying right now, it seems to me that the rules are a little different for them.
Not exactly.
Because a guy can say that, but how does a guy say that and become president of the United States? Let Obama say that.
Yeah, he's not gonna do that.
That ain't happening.
But look at somebody like. But how do you explain somebody like Don Imus who made certain racist comments?
Who?
And Don Imus.
He's white.
Okay.
Yeah, and was immediately
Every now and
faced
then they
serious
have to use
backlash.
somebody. They have to use somebody
And to be
as
honest,
an example.
what's his name? Howard
Every now and then
Stern.
they have to use.
Howard Stern kind of toned it down nowadays.
Matt, they can't. Bryce, they can't let everybody do it.
No, but
They have
but,
to-
but
they
that's
have
what
to
I'm saying. It's
even
all
out.
about who's who. The thing is that you have an industry. These are industries, and it's all about who is controlling the industry. The ones who are probably controlling the industries are probably the ones who can make those comments and not receive any kind of backlash or
Because they'll
really,
turn a blind eye towards it. Like,
right. Like let's look at Jerry Jones. A photo came out of him involved was the 1960s,
Segregation, yeah.
right? Holding back. Well, there was other people holding back black students from entering the school during segregation.
Right.
Meanwhile, his face is smack dab in that picture.
of course.
Right.
Right.
Jerry Jones is the very you talk about somebody who controls an industry.
Jerry Jones is the Dallas Cowboys owner.
Right. Okay. He's the Dallas Cowboys owner. Now Kevin Hart makes a comment about gays
they're trying to cancel.
years ago, and now
Before it was cool to be gay.
well, the thing is, he got his whole hopes
I'm
of
gonna get
hosting.
uninvited.
I'll let you finish, but what the hell was that, Rick?
I have no-
What the hell did you just say, Rick? What the hell was that?
I'm trying to get uninvited. You want to come up here? I had some of that plum juice. My
His
fault.
whole hopes of hosting the
My fault.
Oscars was weighing on something that happened years ago.
Right.
But when Jerry Jones, that photo comes up, who comes to his aid?
His PR, his PR people.
Everybody came to his aid, including black people came to his aid.
Because black people those black people that came in his days, according to Dwayne, has handlers. So they had to. They work for ESPN.
Well,
So they can't come on and be like, "Oh, Jerry," and come smack down on Jerry, right? There has to be a balance. In like with this type of entertainment is staged, right? It's a ESPN is a discussion. We have to disagree on something, right? We can't both be going smack down and going off on Jerry Jones, right? So somebody has to play good cop, somebody has to play bad cop. They have to neutralize a little bit, right? Because of the network and because of audience, and just to keep things balanced a little bit. But everybody we've been talking about so far, I have not met. It's all been white people. So I need to ask, like, what you know?
Well, see that, but we raised the point about Dave Chappelle,
Right.
and that's he's a good example of somebody.
Yeah,
who,
yeah. People disagree. With you.
Now, of course, nobody in their right mind is just gonna say something super blatant. That's not. I don't believe that's in his heart to do that. That's just not
Who?
Dave Chappelle.
Okay.
Because we spoke about Dave Chappelle. I just don't think he's not that kind of guy. You know, to make just to throw a comment out there, because I don't believe there's any kind of hate in his heart to make to throw a hateful rhetoric out there. He's just gonna say things that he observes. It's the same thing like with and I don't want to keep piling more stuff on there, but it's Chris Rock made the same point. He's saying stuff that's just out there. He's just saying it in a different tone, but he's just observing what's been exposed, what already is there. Now people get on them because they're saying it and they have the mic. It's their show, but the thing is, they're only repeating what has been put at them.
So do you think the rules, going back to that question, do you think the rules are the same for
go
white
on.
people that are the same
Depends
as black
on
people?
Depends because okay, so
No. Like,
perfect example.
Hear me clearly.
Okay.
Do you think the rules are the same for white people as it is for black people?
I'm saying
Absolutely.
depends on
I don't
who
think
I'm
those
saying
will line
depends
up.
on who it is.
You
So
answered
remember,
your own
okay,
question.
so remember that China, they were going up against. There was a pro democracy protest in Hong Kong. Somebody from the Houston Rockets tweeted out saying, and they were going against what China was doing, and China was like, "We are boycotting the NBA. Like we're not saying anything else. We're boycotting the NBA." LeBron James, who is usually very vocal when it comes to when it comes to justice or social justice, did not say a word about what was going on. And I was like, come on, this is democracy. We're America, right? We're supposed to be pro-democracy. We're trying to give democracy to every fucking body. But not China, because China has a very controlling stake when it comes to the NBA.
Well, let me say this, right? Now we're talking about political and business decisions, right?
Right.
I'm LeBron James.
Well, not just LeBron, like nobody
Said
in the
anything,
NBA.
right?
Like,
but
yeah.
check this out, though. How can I say something when I just witnessed this cop sit on George Floyd's neck? How can I say something when in my backyard, it's crazy injustice for my people, but yeah, you want me to go stand up for you for China?
Well, no, I'm not asking. No, it's not. It's
and
not.
go battle China. Why? I don't have problems with China. I got problems within my own community.
No, yeah, but I'm not saying
You
necessarily.
know what I mean? Why am I like? Why do I have to feel like I got to go fight China or Japan or whoever that is for that matter?
Well, no, you don't have
the
to-
problem.
yeah.
No, I'm just raising
Yeah,
the point
don't
that
touch me.
a lot of the community, a lot of the community, I touched them anyways. A lot of. Wait, what are we doing here on this podcast?
Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Can I get another plum, please?
No, but a lot of
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
a lot of the people in our community feel like you know what I mean? Like, yo, we got issues with us. Like, why the hell am I mad at China?
Right.
Yeah.
Why? Because you tell me to be mad at China?
Well, no, it's not even
You know
that.
what I mean? Like,
no,
what?
No, I'm saying he will literally. It's not just black issues with LeBron. He will literally
Sound
talk
like
about
Muhammad
everything
Ali.
else.
That's true.
He
but-
will talk about
but
everything
in
else.
In that case, I saw the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody was saying the same thing. In that case, I too, if I was a basketball player, right? You already put the best like when you're choosing the USA team, right? 95% of the people in that team is black. So we're good enough to go represent you over there. But when we need our voices heard here, you don't hear it. And then now you turn around and you want me to say something because you have issues with China? Come on, man, get out of here. If I'm LeBron James, I wouldn't say nothing either.
Right, but here's the thing though, like it's sad. I agree with you.
You know what I mean?
And that's the issue that I have with all of these athletes. And I wish that people could understand that these athletes, they're not as free as we think they are.
I don't think they're free.
They're not free at
You
all.
know,
They're
like
still under the umbrella.
they-
Yeah, with,
still-
Yeah,
because like we got to look at
With
it.
Colin
as-
Kirkpatrick,
No.
they
Yeah,
they
like,
made an
they-
example out of him. It's like, dude, if you guys take a knee, we're gonna fine you
Right.
millions and millions of dollars if you do that.
Right, and to me, like, and here's the thing, I think we're not saying the key word here, and that is white supremacy.
Whoa.
The thing is with white supremacy is everyone falls under white supremacy, including white people themselves. They fall victim to white supremacy as well.
What group of white people?
Well, we're talking about your average American citizens who could care less about the racism. It might be guys like Mr. Beast, but they're taking advantage of the system, but they're falling prey to the system as well.
Well, I think at the end of the
If you look at like I said, I use the example of our athletes. You know, the reason why we're constantly we constantly look at their wealth. We constantly look at their status, and we think, okay, well, this is what I want to attain to be. But we don't realize they don't have a voice. They really don't. And that's why everybody was coming down on Kyrie. Like, that's the reason why, like, I was in Kyrie's corner. Kyrie, to me, really didn't have the full wisdom, the full scope to understand what was going on. But Kyrie did shake some things.
Yeah, he did.
He did, but he just didn't have.
He caused the conversation to be had.
Right.
There you go.
But the thing is, he just didn't have the wherewith, the tools to really like shake just to really shake everything off that tree that needed to be shaken. And that showed you right there that I don't care how rich you are, I don't care how much status you have as an athlete, you're just like us. You know, you don't have a voice. In fact, we might have more of a voice than you because you have a lot to lose, whereas you have some people who don't. You know, they work for an organization that has benefited from this system called white supremacy.
Well, I mean, there is white supremacy, but I think at the end of the day, we are all slave to the person that writes the check.
Right.
So if it's a white
He who
person,
has the gold makes
yeah.
the rules.
So
Right.
whoever, whether he's white, sometimes even middle manager. If your middle manager is black, you got to be really nice to that guy, even if you don't want to be, because he has the power to fire you.
But this is why when we talk about things like Black Revolution and black people got to get together, it's not going to happen. As long as we're under this umbrella of white supremacy, it's not going to happen. Killer Mike said something very interesting. You got to kill your masters.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you heard that speech. Because the thing is it's like this. You have this system, and everyone falls prey to it. Like it's like you have these athletes, and here comes again, like my mind spins because it's like, okay, if you have somebody who's very influential like LeBron James. Now, I'm not saying that LeBron James has to do this, but if you had somebody like Colin Kaepernick saying, okay, I'm kneeling because of I want this thing to be brought to the table. Well, now you have somebody like LeBron James who has maybe more influence as an athlete than Colin Kaepernick.
Right, for sure.
Why couldn't he say, well, you know what? I agree with Colin. We're not going to play until this conversation is brought to the table.
That would have been a great effect. It would have shook the NBA for sure.
Because let's look at Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving is another great player with great influence, probably more influential as an athlete than Colin Kaepernick. Kyrie shakes it up a bit. I mean, Kyrie, at the end of the day, Kyrie's still on the floor playing. So how much did he really lose? You know, yeah, he had to pay up and do these things, but nonetheless, you know, he's still on that floor. Let me because of his influence.
You're right.
They need him.
You're right in saying these things, but let me just put this in this atmosphere real quick, right? I'm not coming from the angle of woe is me, because it's easy to go down there, right? I'm also coming from the angle like, listen, don't hate the game, right? Meaning like learn the game. I'm coming from that like proactive mindset in talking about this too. I'm not coming from a dampen like, oh my God, you know, yeah. So with that being said, right, I do understand Kyrie Irving's and the whole LeBron James explanation or theory, right? But I think that it's very difficult for us to say like, oh, we're going to leave the NBA or sport and start our own.
Right.
What's so hard
Right.
about that?
Well, the
The
problem
reason why it's so hard about that because we don't have any infrastructure,
that and you don't have money.
Well, and why is that?
right?
Because of
Because
the
of this,
system
this
of white
right.
supremacy.
It's the game, right?
Right.
It's a game that we have to figure out,
Right, and, and the thing is, you're never going to get that because you're going to always have somebody of your own color to go against you.
right,
Right.
Because,
Like, let's look at
because
not to
but
cut
then-
you off, but let's
go
look at
ahead.
somebody like Jay-Z.
Yeah,
Everyone loves Jay-Z, and this is probably
I actually like
Hey.
Nas.
Eminem.
But what did
I love
Jay-Z?
Jay-Z.
What did Jay-Z say in regards to the NFL when he joined Roger Goodell? You know what he said? We're past kneeling. Everybody forgets that.
well,
Everybody forgets that.
let's put context
And
now.
then what happened after that? A cop kneeled on
On the guy's
black
neck,
man's
yes.
neck.
and it was it was terrible. But
Right.
let's do this though, right?
But we forget.
Contextually, here's what he said though. Let's he was like, the reason I'm saying that is because we've been kneeling, we've been marching all along for years. It's not effective. The bottom line for everything is money. And what he was saying is like we have to galvanize in this way and not be so quick to run out and go march, because you're gonna run a march, lose your voice, do all that stuff, and ain't nothing change until the money change.
But you galvanize with the guy who is benefiting from the system where of white supremacy.
So let me
where
ask you
nobody
this.
else is really
Let me ask you
benefiting
this.
from it the way.
Let me ask
he
you this:
is.
do you have white friends?
Of course.
Okay. So would you hold your white friends accountable because they're in a system that they benefit from? Would you be mad at them because they benefit from a system? Much like if your parents were rich and then you was born into wealth, right? Why should people hate you because that's where you were born?
No,
into?
it's not a matter of hate. What I'm saying is this: whenever we tried to form our own system,
Right.
we were always terrorized.
All right. Let me. All right.
So
So
what I'm saying is like, okay, like if you have white friends, right? Do you deem all your white friends to be bad?
No,
Right.
no.
So would you hold them, like, would you look at them a certain way because the system is rigged for them?
No,
maybe?
because
you know
here's,
what I mean?
because here's what I know. I know this. I know that they also fall. Like there's some of them that do fall victim.
Mm.
They know that this is a system that I have to upkeep. In order for me to benefit, there's a bit of there is a bit of, I don't want to say selling out because that's the wrong word, but there is like this type of laborious type of mental type of strain that's put on them just to keep up with what's going on. That's why I said like it's not. That's why I'm saying it's white supremacy. And when I say white supremacy, I'm not just talking about it. It doesn't pertain to. What I'm trying to say is that there's white people who are victim as well.
Well,
to that system.
let me. Okay, continue your point, but I had something to say behind something you said. Go ahead. I just want to make sure you put it in there before you go someplace else.
No. Well, what I was saying is that there is they do fall victim to it.
Okay. Well, here's my question. If you're in college and you're a basketball player in college, are you willing to play basketball for maybe like the Big Three or some other black league for $20,000 a year?
For the big three?
Yeah, or Ice Cube's joint. Like it's black owned, but it does not have the amount of income that the NBA would
Here
have.
lies the issue: income,
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying
money, answer for all things.
I'm saying that the NBA didn't start as big as it was. When it first started, people weren't making all that money. It's just over time they started getting, benefactors but if you have a black owned basketball league, it's not going to make the amount of money that the NBA makes. That's money, that income. If you're giving me a $30 million contract, is going to look a lot better than making $30,000 for a black for a black owned league, which is the reason why we're not going to be able to do that. Because if you're telling me I can make 30 million or I can, be for the cause and make 30,000, that's not going to buy me a house. That's not going to buy me,
I think that's where lies the problem, right? Because it can be effective if everyone does not play. Let me just be,
that's the only way.
Let me just be quite frank with you, right? The league is dominated by black players. Let's call it what it is. Where's the lie? Right?
Right. No.
So
that's
if
fine.
you take every single black player out, let's just say for example, right? You have no league. So now you have to renegotiate.
Right.
You have no high jumpers. You have no Michael Jordans. You have no Muhammad Ali. Let's go to boxing. You have none of those people, right? So then if all of those people are extracted, that's when you go to the negotiation table.
Right, but you have to wait them out.
I think what plagues our community is the fact that unity was tore up a long time ago. And the instance of let's go back to slavery.
Mental slavery.
Right? That thing has an effect on us where it's very difficult to galvanize like that. Because yes, that is possible that can happen. That we can be like we're not playing any of y'all sports, right? Where you gonna make money? You ain't got nobody to play your sport. Right? You ain't got nobody gonna watch. Ain't nobody watching you. We dominate the community. We dominate
that
sports.
with the LA
You know-
Clippers when they found out that LA Clippers owner was racist. The players, majority of the black players was like, look, we're not gonna play.
Well, yeah,
we're not gonna play.
there's a problem with that,
So
though.
my point is the fact that like when you look at the community, we dominate sports, we dominate the entertainment industry, right? But what I'm saying to you is like it's not enough, because if you're really trying to change that current, right, you really got to galvanize together to change that current, and I think that's our biggest plague.
But nobody's going to stay on code long enough for that to happen. If you got rid of every single black player in the NBA, there would be a bunch of college players clamoring to take those spots.
Yeah.
Right, because we can't. That's our issue. Because money answer for all things.
Yeah.
If I have to feed my family, and you're telling me I got to go take $30,000, whereas I could take $30 million, what do you think I'm going to choose, man? You know what I mean? Like I got to feed my family, so I'm going to take 30 million. So that plagues our community as well, because the value is in that.
Because the thing is, revolution is going to cost you, and nobody is willing to count the cost or even go through the sacrifice. And you're right, because it's like you look at these athletes, who is riding on their coattails, or who is really benefiting from them? Their family, their whole neighborhood. Sometimes they hold their whole community on their back.
Yeah.
But like true revolution says, you know what? We got to sacrifice this for the greater good.
Well, you say that until you see one of your children starving. Like that's it's
a
hard. Like
difficult
I was really revolutionary before I got married. I was huge, like, yeah, about the cause. And then, you gotta feed people. You're like, wow. And that's what a lot of basketball players are doing.
I mean, look at somebody. Okay, this is somebody who I look at as a good example. Look at Dame Dash.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who's love him or hate him. Here's somebody who puts the money where his mouth is, and somebody who's actually making those.
And that's the issue.
Moves.
That's the issue. He's great, but he's one.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he's trying to empower everyone else.
Right. In his immediate circle, he's one. And that lies our issue all the time. It just keeps reoccurring. Like, yo, you have one, or you have a group, or you have three, or you have four, you have five even, and then you have 95 that says nah.
Yeah.
It's how do you like at this point, I'm like, is revolution the answer?
Well, it has to be the answer, because that's the only way things are gonna That's
because revolution causes.
But
if you're gonna say revolution also has bloodshed.
Yeah.
So is revolution the answer?
At
because
this point,
is it worth having bloodshed at this point?
If it means, it depends on how much you value your freedom in that sense.
Well, you don't. Okay, so the problem is you can value your freedom. In order to have freedom, you may have to take a pay cut, because there is somebody paying your money that you do not have freedom around. So you can be free for 30,000. Are you willing to do that? That's the
But
question.
are you free with 30,000?
Well, no, I'm saying in the sense of where, okay, so independent people, like independent artists, independent all that stuff, they don't have the engine of the record label behind them. They don't have the influence, or they're not able to get their music out there to do Taylor Swift numbers.
Right.
But all of the stuff that they do is absolutely theirs. So I think T-Pain is independent now. You don't hear as much of like T-Pain as you did when he was signed for somebody, but he's still making his music and he's still making money from it. It's just he's just not out there like that because he doesn't have anybody behind him. He's doing everything independent. So I'm saying you can do everything independent and own everything, or you can give money to the labels and have that behind you. Same thing with basketball. You can play for the big three. You can have people go to Ice Cube's league and play well, but they may not get the amount of payoff that you would get by going with the NBA. And if you go with the NBA, make sure you don't say what they don't want you to say, because if you do, they will take that money away.
But I'm not mad at that because you're going to work for somebody.
Right.
They have rules.
Of course.
So if you're gonna, you know what I mean, like if you're gonna work for a corporation, they got rules. You got to follow the rules because that's how you make your bread. I'm never mad at that, at them setting the rules because they have the money to pay you. But what I'm saying is like, is because these conversations comes up a lot, right? And everybody talks about let's revolutionize and let's galvanize and all that stuff, right? In this day and age, 2023, is that really the answer?
Well, what is the answer?
I think
I'm throwing it out there.
Right. I mean, that can only be like there
the
has to be-
only answer is owning your own stuff.
right, because like financially you have to be free.
How? Okay, what does that mean? Free financial.
That
Okay,
means you have no
let's-
ties to anybody. That means
let's-
I have nothing to lose.
But in
Right,
business,
let's-
you do have ties with people.
Let's circle back to the
Yeah, but
original.
it depends on who you have ties with.
Right.
Okay, so let's do this, right? Who makes our clothes?
Hard.
China.
So we need relationship with China, right?
Right.
Who makes our shoes?
China.
China.
We need relationship with China for the shoes, right? Who makes our hats?
China and Indonesia.
Really? So we make.
Vietnam.
So we need relationship with China and Indonesia, right?
Vietnam.
Who makes our shoelaces?
China probably.
Really?
Yeah.
Cotton picking
Okay.
Chinese.
China.
Or
Pakistan. Okay.
right?
Pakistan.
Okay. So who makes our watches? The components for the watches.
Indian children.
All right. Regardless, my point is, right?
Sweden.
Regardless of the race that creates these things, whether it's Chinese, Japanese, Indonesian, Indians, black, you need people in business,
Yes.
right? And there are things that we offer that they need as well, right? It's an exchange. It keeps the economy going, right? So is it worth revolutionizing, right? Am I saying that right? Okay. Right.
Whatever.
And then losing relationships because that revolution is gonna also hurt all your plugs.
Yeah, I mean, I was
go ahead,
wondering about like
So-
where we were going with this
Right.
car because it's like, it sounds like okay. So if you get the thing you seem to be looking at, Matt, it seemed like there'd be like a black league and maybe a white league.
I'm not saying it has to be a black league. I'm saying it has to be a right league. You know what I'm saying? Like a league
But that's what I'm saying. Everybody
A league of
who's trying to
justice.
make this situation better is looking to have a separation of the races, which brings around more racism.
It's not.
But it would be. It
No,
would be.
it
If
would
you say,
be.
okay, all the black people need to do this together and they need to get together. And what is that doing?
No. What I'm
okay.
talking about is dismantling white supremacy.
The way you dismantle white supremacy is to be concerned about actually what's happening. And what's happening is exploitation. That's where we were.
Yo, let me jump in this because this chat was live.
This is where
All right,
we were.
Yo, D Keys and Natalie, I'm sorry. You've been saying a bunch of things. We haven't paid attention to it.
What
All
is
right,
it?
big facts. They're always willing. There's always one that's willing to do it. All right.
Yeah.
Natalie said, let me go there. I think that black people underestimate our worth. Then Natalie then says, I think the pay cut is a fake thing.
If as a collective
Go ahead, Matt.
we move, the money flows because black people are the commodity. Our skills, talents, presence. We keep telling us there's a pay cut, but there's no proof that it'll fail.
Well, no, I think she was talking to my point. Okay. So when
That's what
when I said that, I said basically that a league or anything when it starts does not have the amount of money that the NBA is going to have. You know, they have different benefactors, they have endorsements and things of that nature.
Right.
So when you start, you may not make that type of money on the outset, which means if the NBA is saying that you'll get 30 million, you may get some money, but it's not going to be that amount of money because you don't have as many benefactors. Not to say that it can't happen. I'm just saying it's going to take time, and some people are not willing to spend that time.
To spend that time.
So I'm saying it can happen. It's going to happen, but I'm saying you have to spend time. You got to put your work in.
Do you think our generation now is capable of such sacrifice?
I think, okay, here's the thing. I think they are capable. I just don't think that, you know, like, I just don't think.
The attention span of our generation now is 3 minutes, the most. Do you think they can really sit up here and be like, we're going to galvanize? They can't hardly stay off their iPhones.
No, you're right. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
I think that's the 60s mentality. You know what I mean? Like that, the 60s, there was a moment of sacrifice.
Well, the
people
thing
died, there were bloodsheds. But I think now it has to be a completely different strategy because it's a completely different group of people.
I don't know what the strategy that would be.
That's the whole point of the whole discussion.
Advertise
There has
on
to be
Instagram.
something that galvanizes.
Because I don't see this generation talking about we're going to galvanize to do anything.
Well, no,
Okay, so you guys
something has
still
to
thinking
happen.
that's
There
the
has to be an event. There has to be an event that happens. The civil rights movement was an event.
Unless there's a catastrophic event.
Yeah, there has to be an event.
Because that galvanized people. Unless there's a catastrophic event like COVID.
Yeah, okay, that was
That
the
happens.
catastrophic
That
event.
happens. That happens in a whole different way that causes people to galvanize.
The other catastrophic event was George Floyd, and what I know Kyrie didn't really have the fortitude to do it, but when everyone was trying to get back into the NBA, they wanted people to play, they wanted people to go into this bubble, and what did Kyrie say? I think during these times we shouldn't be playing.
Right.
And in my my opinion, I'm like, man, he's right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think that, you know, players should be playing when a person
Was just executed live.
live on television.
Mm-hmm. I mean, at
And
that point,
and here's the thing: it garnered attention from around the world. We're talking Japan. We're talking in Germany, Italy. I mean, everywhere around the world, people were just marching in protest. Now, I don't know, like, if they were marching because, like, okay, we've been cooped up this long, let's get out. But either way, it was a scapegoat for people to get out there and go, like, yo, this is wrong. Like, we see what's happening. And the thing is, like whether you like George Floyd or not, it did garner attention around the world, and it could have gone further. Had our own people, our own athletes.
That's exactly what I'm saying to you. We are so distracted that those catastrophic events happen all the time. But because Matt, it does. Because we were home.
Not like George Floyd.
No, but
Not
yo,
like
but
the
you
way
don't
George
know.
Floyd did.
A lot of people are saying like, yo, we stay getting choked up, right? In the hood.
That happened. What I'm talking about
know what
is
I mean?
the attention that it got.
Right, because why? We couldn't go nowhere. That's what I mean when I say with the whole catastrophic event. We couldn't go nowhere, so we was forced to sit in front of that television and watch that man call his mama before he dies.
Yeah.
Right? Because we had no choice. If we had a choice, everybody was going around in their business, it wouldn't have made that big of a news.
Right.
Right.
You're
And
right.
that's what I'm saying in terms of like, yo, we are so distracted, right? How, because these things happen all the time, right? And I'm not taking anything away from the egregious act that cop did on George Floyd, right? I'm not taking that away at all. But a lot of people are also saying like, listen, this been happening in our communities as well. We just don't see it. And then you have to ask yourself, then why didn't we see it? It's because our everyday lives and the news obviously has a part to play in that. doesn't allow you to see these things every single day. And now that we're home, nobody can go nowhere. We're all sitting up here, cooped up
The
with
world
COVID.
saw it.
The world saw
The
it.
world paid attention. Finally.
Right. Finally, the world
Yeah.
saw it. Right now, you asking for kids in this generation to revolutionize. How does that even work?
Well, the kids in this generation was the ones that was storming Brooklyn Bridge.
True.
You know,
But
they
it
had
took
the energy.
Like,
They just don't have the
Right.
wisdom. You know, it's like that. It's like that rhyme that Common says in Glory. It takes the strength. What is it? The strength of the
You gotta have the
youth
elders,
and the wisdom
of the elders.
Elders, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, if that connection is there, then yeah, it probably could have did something great. America let that slip, and I think the ones that we deem in this status, they had the opportunity. And again, I don't want to hold, because I don't think that athletes should be completely responsible for
every
Social change.
revolution.
yeah, I don't agree with that. But we did let a lot of those people who had that status, they slipped. You know, the people who had those influences in these spaces,
Well, I think that's the issue.
they slipped. They dropped the ball.
I think that's the issue, Matt, because we're always looking for somebody else to do it.
But the thing is, we were doing it. We were the ones that were protesting. We were the ones that was going outside. But the ones that were in the spaces where that can have the conversation, they weren't doing that.
There were some athletes that did protest, like I believe the Celtics, Jaylen Brown protested, but he still played. He still
played, but that's my point.
Right.
The sacrifice. Nobody's willing to do the sacrifice. That's my point. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna take sacrifice. Dr. King knew good and well, I'm gonna go to jail
or be killed.
They don't have that.
Well, I
you
mean,
know?
Well,
That
that's
was
my
a
point.
different
You're
time,
saying
though.
my point.
Right.
That was a different
sacrifice.
time,
Like
though.
what the older generation have it's not existent right now. Like,
Because-
they don't
well,
have that.
think
Like,
about- but you
these
gotta-
kids are not going up there talking about I'm gonna risk my life. They ain't doing that, bro.
You got to
Right.
think about
They're
what
gonna
was
be on
happening.
TikTok
though.
before that happens.
You got to think
Right.
about. You got to think about what was happening.
Go ahead.
You had Emmett Till dying and like visibly, opening his coffin. I think Mamie Till was the one that started basically the civil rights movement.
right.
She's the one that started it because you actually saw Emmett Till brutally murdered, and then you see him in the coffin, and that's what started the civil rights movement. You had Dr. King dying. You had Malcolm X dying. You had Robert Kennedy dying. So all of this stuff was happening at that time. We don't have that. Not to say that I want people to die, but that was a galvanizing force that started, that made change. Because it's like enough people die in front of you. That's how we're going to do that.
And that's the unfortunate part, because again, catastrophic. Somebody has to die in order for something to change.
Yeah. Jesus died
Lord of mercy.
I mean,
for a big change.
so
For those who believe. You
all right,
know?
so are we agreeing? Are we
You said
agreeing?
that, thank you.
Are we agreeing? So then there has to be bloodshed.
Yeah, that's what was sacrifice. What is a sacrifice?
I don't
There's no
agree, but
revolution.
that's okay.
There's no revolution without bloodshed.
3 against
And
1.
I
I'm
believe
done.
Frederick Douglass said that.
3
I
against
forgot
1.
who
I'm
said
done.
that. That is actual quote. There's no revolution without bloodshed. And I can't remember
Man,
who
this is
said
such a like you.
No,
yo,
I feel
you
like
keep-
there is already enough bloodshed. That's
What
what,
do you
I feel.
mean?
I feel there's already been enough bloodshed.
No, go ahead.
No, that's all.
Explain though. Like, what do you mean? There has been enough bloodshed, but like, what is
I
it?
think people have lost the point of especially people like Dr. King and so on. You bring up his name, but you're not looking at
Martin
his
Luther King
vision.
as well. Although
You're not
it was
looking
us.
at his vision. I mean, even Bob Marley spoke about that stuff. I remember him talking about no more significance than the color of his eyes. He's not talking about just black people. He's talking about every person. The thing about it is, I mean, people hate to hear that, but the point of the matter is that every person on earth needs that dignity. White people need it too. We need. I think we're running into a weird place.
So
It's like,
talk to me about what dignity.
no, I'm just saying that generally speaking, when I hear black people talk about this subject, it seems like we're fighting fire with fire. In other words, people have been racist against you, so the answer is to be racist against them. And that's very, very popular. And I'm like, that just doesn't seem to make any sense to me.
I agree with you, but let me ask you a question. Can I offend you, or can I slap you, and then decide how you should respond?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I've already made that particular.
You gotta ask Chris Rock that.
No, I agree with you. Like,
I'm saying
no,
but this is the nature of America.
no, but okay.
So what happens?
No,
is,
no, no, no.
Let me just
Let me
put this in
answer
there.
you. I didn't answer.
Right.
As long as you keep-
Let me answer you.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
No,
No,
because
let me answer you.
okay. Go
I
ahead.
will let you continue, but let me answer you.
Go ahead.
The proper way I should answer you is like this. I still get to decide how I should respond. That's what you're saying. You should not, the person who slaps me, decide how I
The
respond.
offender doesn't get to that doesn't
Correct.
have the it should not have the opportunity to also tell you how you should respond.
Exactly, I agree.
I'm the offender.
Now, since you're the offendee,
You're the offendee.
you get to choose. Do you have to respond in kind? That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so let me tell you this. You sitting up here right now, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I slap you once. Then I slap you again. Then you say, you know what? There's a reason why he slapped me. And as you're talking, I slap you again. Whap. Then you keep talking, I slap you one more time. Whap. What are you going to do, Ricky?
I could probably
No.
And then hold
you
on.
vacate
Hold
the
on.
premises, I
Vacate-
follow you, and I slap you behind your head. What?
Okay.
Then you get down the block, you say, I'm not going to do anything, Patrick. And I slap you again.
Inquiring minds want to know, Ricky.
Okay.
Ricky, what are you going to do,
Okay.
Ricky? There's
All
only
right.
so much you can take, Ricky.
No, you brought that to another level.
Okay, go ahead.
No, you
I'm
brought
just
it to another level.
But that's a minute level compared to what happened to black people.
Okay, yes, it
So,
happened. No,
that's
no, no, no.
minute.
No, but here's
That's
the
just a
difference.
slap.
No, but listen, this is the difference.
Slap.
It is slap.
You see, as you're talking, I slap.
I understand.
Slap.
I
Yeah,
understand.
but space. Here's the thing.
No,
But you see how many
No,
times I
but
just
no,
slap
but
you?
No
but
space.
space.
No.
Here's the thing.
No.
Here's
No.
the thing.
I just slapped you 5 times.
But
while
that
we're
is
talking.
not-
But you get slapped 5 times. But guess what makes me take it even more?
What?
Give me a contract. $30 million.
Well,
I'll
then,
take
well, then,
all the slaps.
I'll slap you 50 times. Then.
No.
And guess
No.
what? But that's what's happening. That's what's happening.
Right.
You
but,
guys are
but
digging
I want Ricky.
contradictions.
No, wait, no, it's not extreme. I
If
want
you
Ricky.
give Ricky a
It's
$30 million
No,
contract,
you're giving Ricky an out. I told Ricky this is a this is
No, that is not an out. That is not an
The
out.
scenario is this: Ricky, you walked
Yes.
out the room. Before you walked out the room, I
Yes.
slapped you 10 times.
Yes.
Now you walk over there. I followed you and slapped you again.
So
What are you gonna do,
So
Ricky?
you're gonna follow me to Mount Vernon.
Oh, I'm gonna follow you to the end
So
of the
who's
earth.
stupid?
You're gonna
So
get
who's stupid now?
you for getting a bunch of slaps.
You're gonna keep slapping me all the
Yeah.
way to Mount Vernon.
Yes,
You
Ricky,
really think so?
Ricky, you would not do that, Ricky. I tell
I'm asking you, do
on-
you think somebody would do
on
that?
the first slap? You slap back.
give him $30 million. He won't
Ricky.
slap back.
No.
Ricky, on the
You wanna
first,
try?
Oh, no, I'm not gonna try, Ricky. But on the first,
I wanna try.
No, on the first slap, Ricky, you slap back.
My pimp hand is strong,
Ricky,
sir.
I have
But
big
we
hands.
understand
Look at the
fundamentally.
slap. I have big hands. Look at the
Listen
slap.
to what I'm saying.
see my hands?
Fundamentally, we understand that will not solve anything.
Right.
That's the problem.
Ricky, you're a great
if you
brother.
slap me and
You're
I
a
slap
great-
you back, it doesn't solve anything.
It doesn't.
The only way to
it's
solve
not-
it is to do something
At
different.
this point, we're not talking about solving.
There are many ways
At this
for you to
point-
get slapped and make the person who slap you feel stupid about slapping you.
Exactly.
Well, hold on, time out.
Exactly.
Okay, go ahead.
But
I'm
Ricky,
sorry.
Ricky,
Yes.
here's what I'm saying to you,
Yes.
right? This
Yeah.
is a physical altercation that's happening. Would you deem I'm a pretty big man?
You're bigger than me?
Would you deem my hands are big?
Pretty big.
If I slap you,
Could you
it'll
stop
probably-
doing that?
It'll probably hurt, right?
It would.
So you're not going to take that, Ricky. You're going to slap back. My point is this. My point is not the fact that you should not turn the other
We
cheek. It's not
talking
that.
about the
What I'm saying is-
sacrifice.
What I'm
though.
saying is, how do you come to a resolution with somebody who continually follows you to slap you?
$30 million.
Clearly, he doesn't care about your morals.
No, he
doesn't
doesn't.
care about you turning the other cheek.
exactly what's
His
happening.
desire,
No,
his
no.
desire is
Exactly
to
what's
slap
happening.
you.
Can I add something?
No,
Can I?
no.
Sorry,
I
dude.
do believe that at the end of the day, there is a point where he's gonna feel stupid. For
He's not.
continuing.
My desire is not. I don't
No.
care. I
That
just
is
wanna
not
slap you.
reality today, though.
No,
Ricky,
but
I
let
just
me-
want to slap you. I don't
is
care
not
what,
reality.
I don't care
Can I-
what
can I-
the thing
Rick,
is.
can I ask you something? Let me ask you a
What's
question.
up? What's up?
Okay, so
What's up?
Yo.
Rick is slapping you. You physically try to get away from Ricky. I mean, not from Space.
Right.
He's continuing to slap you.
Right.
At some point, in order for, because he doesn't care. You're not you think, because you're saying at some point you're going to feel stupid, as if he's going to feel shame for slapping you. He's like, you know what? I'm messing up. I shouldn't be slapping this guy.
Right.
No, he has no shame. He's going to continue to
So you
slap.
guys
Not-
have seen
not
that
one
happen.
shame, not one
So
shame.
I'm saying you've seen that
But
happen.
this is the history of this country.
No.
That's the history of human beings.
Hold on. Who's slapping who right now? First of all,
Yo,
who's slapping who right now? 2023.
yo,
Who's
what is-
slapping you?
What is the history? I'm not. Listen.
Last
listen,
year-
Listen to me.
No, hold
I'm
on.
not. I'm not.
Who's
I'm not.
slapping you? 2023.
Ricky, I already gave that caveat. I'm not coming from the place
Okay.
of woe is me.
Okay.
I'm not saying, oh my God.
No, but I'm saying, but that's who I'm talking
no,
to.
I'm not saying, oh, because the system, I can't do anything. That's not me. You already know that.
but that's what
not-
I'm talking
That's
to.
not the more. I'm talking to the fact that there is a big issue here, right?
There is.
Is you don't get to slap, you don't get to offend somebody. And
No, but I'm the one
and
saying
then
it.
turn around and decide how the offendee should
I
respond.
agree.
And
I
think,
agree with
I think
you.
that's the narrative that people are getting
Okay.
pissed off about.
Okay, but-
well, they may not like that. I get that, but all I'm saying is you have a choice to make. No matter who you are, if you're on the offending side or the one that's been offended, you have a choice to make. I can be the one who's slapping, and I'm like I could keep slapping, or I could be the one that's getting
I think
slapped.
you're gonna slap me back.
But I think here's the point. I think here's the point. Okay, so what I'm saying, I guess to lend to the conversation that we're having, I'm saying that there's a person that has $30 million to give you. He says, in order for you to get this $30 million, I have to be able to continually piss in your mouth.
oh boy.
Now,
Okay.
you can either take
Okay.
the piss
plane.
or you can walk away.
Yeah, I like
You
that.
could.
You can walk away, but and
You could.
You're right.
then make your own situation to where you don't have to do that.
Right.
So what I'm saying is,
But that's what I'm
in
talking
order,
about.
Right. In order to be able to walk away, you have to be able to come up with your own situation. You may
Right.
not get the same amount of
Right.
money, but you get to keep your dignity.
Yes.
So when it comes to the social issues, when it comes to George Floyd, we cannot expect certain people to care about the situation with George Floyd the way that we did. We don't even expect that. We shouldn't even expect that from them. I'm saying that you in those situations, let me ask you a question. If you decide to no longer go to a Chinese restaurant, do Chinese people care? Absolutely not.
No.
If you decide to not go to a Jewish bank, do Jewish people care?
Not really.
You know why?
Nope.
Because they own it. But if they say we're no longer going to patronize the black community, we're in a bad way because we don't own it. So I'm saying you take the time, you make the sacrifice to own your own stuff so that when these things happen, you don't have to worry about somebody not patronizing you because
that would be taking the offensive. Not trying to loot the white business, but making your own.
well, yeah, I think that's the point.
You get what I'm saying?
I'm pro making my own.
That's all I'm. But
I'm
that's
agreeing
the
with
point.
you, Rick. I'm on your side. I just know that if I
the
slap you
the man is enterprising. That's
Yeah.
my point. The man, all the advantage is able to take is because he's enterprising. Most people who are underneath and down and being oppressed are not. There are some people who come from very meager means and they're poor and they get to be something over generations because they're enterprising. They get that goal. Some people are fine with it. And then they can blame other people, but they're fine with it. They're not enterprising. That is the ill of the world today. It's bigger to me than
Money-
any
money
type of
talks.
racism that I've ever seen. That is a bigger deal to me than any racism I've ever seen.
So the bigger deal, sum it up for me. So the bigger deal is what again?
Is that
I like how you said that, by the way. But go
people
ahead.
are not most people who don't have are not as enterprising. They don't look at, oh, this is the way out of my a situation. You know what I mean? It's easy to sit and be lazy and blame, and that's easier, trolling people on YouTube, all that stuff, who's trying to do something, right? Trolling Mr. Beast, who's trying to do something. However he's doing it, you can, talk about it, but it's like, you can also do that same thing. You could say, okay, I don't like the way he's doing that. Let me go make some type of private, enterprise is going to be
Listen,
the same
I'm,
thing.
I'm all for figuring out the game. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I
No, that's all it is. Figure out
definitely-
what they're doing,
But
do it yourself.
let me ask you this. Some people will hear you say that and be like, so are you calling black people lazy?
No, it's not a black thing.
But who are you
There are
talking about?
many people who are oppressed.
Okay, so who are you
It
talking
is
about?
not on race lines at all.
So who's oppressed besides black people?
Any race you could think of.
Who?
Any race.
Who?
Any race.
Which ones?
You made it a race thing.
Which one?
Any race.
No, you're saying people are oppressed. Who's oppressed? The word oppression is used for black people. But
Really?
who's
Oh, I had
been
no idea.
oppressed?
I did not know it was. I did not know it.
But that was initiated. That was termed.
Okay, so India
For
has
black
a
people.
so all right. So I'm talking about the fact that India has a caste system, and there are people who are looked down on, and they're down here, and they are not able to be socially mobile.
So that's India. Within
There's tribal wars
within
in
their own country.
Right.
Yes.
There's
Right.
a difference, right? But I'm talking about
It's about in America.
in America.
Okay, in America,
Yeah, who's oppressed?
I don't
Oh, the
see.
indigenous, native.
Right, we
They were
have that, but
oppressed.
I'm saying, but some of them are not. Some of them are.
No, they are.
No, some of them are. No, I'm saying, but some of them own stuff. No, but some of them own stuff. That's what I'm saying.
But by who? Given by who?
No, but I'm saying they
But no,
own
not given by
stuff.
anybody. Nobody thought that they were gonna make a
Yeah,
casino.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They own stuff. They be getting money. Like I'm just saying.
But at by who? No, who regulated that? Who legislated that?
No, I don't know who
No, it's
no,
on-
hold on. Let me give it to you better. I don't know who regulated that, but I know who's giving them the money. Black people.
And
And it's on. It's
Guess who's in the casinos?
yeah, it's on a reservation.
Yo.
They
People who don't have.
we can go on forever, man.
Yeah,
We could. Daggone it. So
Yo, shout out
saving
to
the world.
shout out to our audience who listen to us and listen us go through
Thank you. Thank you.
these layers of conversation, man.
Thank you.
You know, shout out to our producer Fake. Who, yo, it's 12 uninvited, man. It's been great. You know,
Yo.
love the conversation. Listen, the chat, D Keys and Nat, you guys, we saw.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Choco
participating with us
Jones.
as usual. You know what I mean? Love y'all, man. So listen, Uninvited Podcast, we out.
Hands on my knees, shaking ass with my thought shit. Hands on my thought.
Oh.